Hello everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today on your daily startup, I want to explain to you why your ignorance might be costing you way more than you realize. Ignorance might be costing you so much that it's better to always try to clarify areas of assumption and confront your ignorance head on. Hello friend, this is the voice of Ademola Morebise. Hello friend, you see, in this life I want you to realize something. We all pay for our ignorance, right? At the end of the day, we all pay for our ignorance. For example, the reason why you need a lawyer, right, is simply because you are ignorant of the law. It's as simple as that. And you need a doctor because the doctor has spent a lot of time studying and getting educated and knowledgeable about the human body, about diseases, sicknesses, and healing and things like that, right? So you pay for your ignorance. Every artisan you engage, every service you pay for is as a result of your own ignorance. And people also come to pay you for areas where you are knowledgeable but where they are ignorant. If you understand this thing, you will realize that, wow, there's something there, isn't it? But I want to recall, something for you quickly, all right? Now, towards the ending of last year, 2020, I started receiving a couple of communications from our bankers, and we're talking about the fact that the CBN had issued a new directive for checks, that the checkbook was going to change to a new format, blah, blah, blah. And I sat down and I was wondering, when was the last time, I had to issue out a check, right? Yes, we still receive checks from, certain organizations, but by issuing checks out, I couldn't recall, right? In fact, there are some banks, that have refined their processes to the place whereby they no longer, they no longer use checks. They don't honor checks anyway. They phased out checks out of their system, right? And so I was wondering what's the usefulness of me going to get the new checkbook and things like that. But here's the interesting thing, all right? A long time ago, maybe 10 years ago or more, when I was just starting out in business as a scrappy business owner trying to save every penny, okay? So I used to use the checkbook a lot. In fact, I used to write checks for myself to get to the bank, queue, and then, access the funds as required, right? Then one day, one of the bankers said, young man, why don't you just request for online banking? And I told him, out of my ignorance, I felt the process was convoluted, I felt the process was expensive, I felt the process was time consuming. Like that was the assumptions I had in my head. It was one expensive, complicated, and in a few minutes, he said, no, it's not like that. In fact, it's so amount of money. This is the process. In a few weeks, we're going to give you the device and you are good to go. I was like, seriously? He said yes. Then on the spot, I applied, and that was, that must have been the last time I ever had to physically walk into their bank in order to access anything. And I always look back at that scenario often, and see how ignorance, cost us a lot of things. What makes it even more damning in my case is that I'm supposed to be a tech entrepreneur, for crying out loud. I mean, if a tech entrepreneur is so ignorant about something like that, then, what's my excuse? But do you know, dear friend, that this little story is true in so many people's life, right? Like, if you look within and you are being honest with yourself, you realize that there are some assumptions you have about some things, about some people, about some places, about some topics. And those assumptions, you made them up, you cooked them up based on maybe outdated facts you had. Outdated facts means those facts were true, but they're no longer true. But it's outdated, but you forgot to update your facts. So your assumptions is built around outdated facts. Sometimes we just have natural bias against something. Naturally, you just don't like something. Some people just don't like YouTube for no reason at all. When you say, why do you hate YouTube? And YouTube, consumes a lot of data. Well, not really, because you don't have any empirical proof that YouTube actually consumes your data. You just made it up that, YouTube videos, video used to consume data, YouTube consumes data. That's all. You didn't actually sit down to calculate how much data has been consumed. So in all these areas of our life, we are ignorant. And rather than confront our ignorance, we prefer to ride the wave of ignorance. They say ignorance is bliss sometimes. That it's better not to know things. If you know something, you lose your peace. You start getting worried. Okay? But dear friend, you see, life is not fun on the ignorance lane of life. That's the truth. while I'm not advocating you become a jack of all trades, know it all. No, you will always be ignorant of certain things. You will always have to pay for your ignorance. We all pay for our ignorance, right? But at least let it be a conscious decision that I choose not to be knowledgeable in certain areas. And in that case, that would mean that I have a trusted professional that will be able to help me out in those areas, right? You don't want to operate in ignorance in any area of your life. So you need to get into that mindset that I will always identify areas of ignorance. I will always tackle ignorance. I will always wipe out ignorance, and I'll try to keep on expanding my knowledge base. I'll keep on trying to ensure that I have up-to-date knowledge and I'm well informed on things as they happen. That is the better way to face life. That is the best thing we can do for ourselves. We have to tackle all our assumptions. We have to clarify. We have to ensure that we are not just suffering, based on our ignorance. Why don't you repeat after me this morning? Say, God daily loads me with benefits. I am bold and strong. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. My name is Ademola Morebise. Thank you so much for taking our time to check out this video. Remember, you can live a formidable life. Have a great day. Thank you.